Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. You know the difference between monarchy and democracy? The difference between monarchy and democracy is in democracy, we can ask questions to our ministers, to our leaders, to our public servant. We can ask questions. क्यों हो रहा है? क्यों कर रहे हो? Sometimes we can ask directly. Sometimes we can use our representative, our public representatives like the MPs and the MLAs to ask questions. Sometimes we depend on journalists to ask questions to our elected representatives and our leaders and our office bearers like the Prime Minister and senior ministers. Unfortunately, from 2014, we have seen a change. The change is that the Prime Minister chooses who asks him the questions. He chooses. And normal people from the press cannot ask him questions. Chance hi nahi hai. No way. He chooses. What we have seen from 2014 is the opportunity to question the government is almost as good as nil. And now what we are seeing is worse. The government has stopped questionnaire in the parliament. How dangerous is that? Let's discuss that in length. Let's discuss that in detail. My topic number 2 is ease of doing business. You see, globally, they have discontinued this ease of doing business, saying that ye sab jo data and all is fudged. All is irrelevant data. So they have stopped it. But in India, we seem to be kind of enjoying this entire thing of ease of doing business. And incidentally, Uttar Pradesh is the is number 2 as far as ease of doing business is concerned. Let's talk about ease of doing business. Let's get right into the show. So this government says that there will be no question hour. There will be no question hour in the Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha. There will be no question hour in our parliament. You know why the government stopped the question hour? The government stopped the question hour according to the Lok Sabha Secretariat. The government stopped the question hour because it was decided to do away temporarily with the question hour due to the extraordinary situation caused by COVID and to avoid assembling of large number of officials to present in galleries of the house during the question hour in view of the need for social distancing. What an irony. What an irony. The government thought of need of social distancing during the question hour in the temple of democracy. They didn't think need of social distancing during party rallies. They didn't think need of social distancing during party meetings. There is no need of social distancing. But here there is need of social distancing. Well, now what is question hour? Let us start with that. Let us first understand what is this concept of question hour. You see, the first hour of a sitting session of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha is when you have the question hour. The first hour. So the first hour, technically speaking, a member of the parliament can stand up and ask any ministers questions. They can stand up and ask. There are 3 or 4 types in how the question is asked, which I'll come to. But they can stand up and ask questions. So the point is, he asks a question to the minister and the minister is duty bound to answer it. Minister cannot say, nahi bolne ka aaj. He cannot say that. He is duty bound to answer it. That is very important for our democracy. I'll tell you there are 4 types like I told you. The first type is what you call as the starred type. Starred. Starred question means you can ask a question. You can just stand up and orally ask a question to the minister. And the minister is duty bound to answer it. Now, you can ask a supplementary question if the speaker allows you to. Otherwise, the speaker may say, nahi puchne ka, bas ho gaya. So that's over. But otherwise, you also can ask a supplementary question if the speaker allows you to. So that's the starred question, which is very popular, and it makes sense because you see, you can understand, you can ask questions and you can get answers from the ministers. Now, there are these non-starred type questions. Non-starred questions are when members' questions are answered in writing by the concerned minister. And the minister has to write back to you and give you the answer within 15 days to 15 to 25 days. That's the time limit. They have to give you the answer back. So that is the non-starred question. There are some laws to it. You can ask 230 such non-starred questions in a day, as in the Lok Sabha. Not one person, but collectively you can ask around 230 questions in a day in Lok Sabha. That's what they say. So this is non-starred question. Then there are short questions. Short questions are basically where if there is something urgent, something very, very imperative, something very major that's happening in the country, and you want to ask this question to a minister, you can ask that question, and the minister has to answer back to you in writing within 10 days. Within 10 days, and I think after the 15th Lok Sabha amendment, it is now 15 days. But the minister has to answer back this question and answer back this question quickly. So that is short question. And then you have questions to private members. Question to private members, it need not be a minister that I ask. I can ask the MP of Wayanad. I can ask the MP of Wayanad and say, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, why is this happening in your Wayanad? I can ask. That's, the member of parliament, of course, can ask. So that's for private members. So like I said, 4, one is starred, oral questions, one is non-starred, written questions, one is short questions, immediate answers that you require for something which is very emergent, something which is very important happening in the country, and 4th is you ask a private member. So these are the 4 types of questionnaire. Now let's get to questionnaire. Questionnaire is the basis of our democracy in a way, because that is when in the parliament you get answers. You can ask people, you can ask the government as to why is moratorium, for instance, lifted. Why are we being charged interest on interest? Why are we being charged interest on interest? You can ask. The finance minister has to stand and answer you. But now, nothing. It is a questionnaire where the member of parliament can stand and ask the defense minister what is happening, or the external affairs minister, what is happening to China? What is happening in China? Is there incursions? If there are incursions, to what extent? He has to stand and answer those questions. But now, nothing doing. It is in this questionnaire that you can ask the finance minister, Baba, what are you doing for the economy? Kahan gaye 20 lakh crore? Where? Show us, where is the 20 lakh crore? The finance minister has to stand and answer. Now there is no need. So the fact remains that questionnaire is the basis. In fact, I don't say this. Let me read out some paragraphs to you. The Lok Sabha website says that it is during the questionnaire that the member can ask questions on every aspect of administration and government activity. Government policies in national as well as international spheres come into sharp focus as the member try to elicit pertinent information during the questionnaire. I don't say this. Lok Sabha website says this. They are saying it. You see, that's the time when you can ask questions and get answers of those questions. How long are we going to fudge data? How long are we going to hold data? How long are we going to stop talking to relevant press? How long are we going to stop answering tough questions? Can anybody in this country tell us the narrative of what exactly is happening between India and China in the border? Can anybody tell us? Some people say something else says something else. There is no absolute narrative, mind you. Can anybody say what steps has this government taken to ensure that the economy is put back on rails? What is the stimuli that the government has put in? What are the kind of monies that the government has pumped into the economy? Can anybody tell us? Again, it is somebody's word. Somebody denies, somebody says yes, somebody says no. Can anybody tell us what is the unemployment rate of India? How many people are unemployed? Can anybody tell us? There are versions. Even for GDP, there are 2 versions. The government says something and somebody says, no, if the thing is calculated right, it will be something else. This happens when the information is not delivered to people and when the government thinks that the people does not deserve to know. That is when this kind of things happen. By the looks of it, anybody who dares to ask tough questions, real questions to this government either are sidelined, thrown out or termed anti-national. By the looks of it, this government just wants us to shut up and listen. So the State Business Reforms Action Plan BRAP of 2019 feels that Uttar Pradesh is the second best place to do business in India after Andhra Pradesh. They feel that. Okay, I will come to this topic of ease of doing business. Before I come to this topic, there is a concept called pissing in your pants and feeling warm about it. Have you heard this concept? You see, you piss in your pants and you feel warm. Only you feel warm. Nobody understands that there is warmth. Only you feel warm and you feel very good that, oh, the environment is warm. This kind of, these ratings, ease of doing business and best of doing business and corruption free and environmental friendly, all these are basic rating systems which makes no sense. And I'll tell you why. You see, India as a country is not a good country to do business in. There is no ease of doing business in India. Let us be very honest about it. And the first step of improvement is to understand and accept the fact that there is something wrong. We have to first understand and accept the fact that our administrative system is wrong. There is no state in India which you can actually go out and say that, wow, what a beautiful place to do business in. There is no state in India. Number one. Number two, the states which are mentioned in the BARP listing, I see no reason why we should believe that these are the states that are good to do business in. I see no reason why we should believe. And I will try and prove it to you. Now, before I get into this concept of ease of doing business, let me just tell you which are the states and how they rank. Andhra Pradesh ranks 1, Uttar Pradesh ranks 2, Telangana ranks 3, Madhya Pradesh ranks 4th, Jharkhand ranks 5th, Chhattisgarh ranks 6th, Himachal Pradesh 7th, Rajasthan 8th, West Bengal 9th, Gujarat 10th, Uttarakhand 11th, Delhi 12th, Maharashtra 13th, Tamil Nadu 14th, Lakshadweep 15th, Haryana 16th, Karnataka 17th, Daman and Diu 18th, Punjab 19th, Assam 20th, Jammu and Kashmir 21st, Andaman and Nicobar 22nd, Dadra and Nagar Haveli 23rd, 24th Goa, 25th Mizoram, 26th Bihar, 27th Pondicherry, 28th Kerala, 29th Arunachal Pradesh, 30th Chandigarh, 31st Manipur, 32nd Meghalaya, 33rd Nagaland, 34th Odisha, 35th Sikkim and 36th Tripura. So this is what they say. This is how the states rank. According to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is the department that actually did this rating, they say that the states were given 187 reform points for improvement in 12 business regulatory areas such as access to information, transparency, labor regulations, constructions, permits, single window system, inspection, tax payments, land availability, and allotment and contract enforcement. So these are part of the 187 reforms in which these states were given marks and finally they were ranked. The irony is, no state knows how much they were ranked in which of these parameters. No state knows. Now, for instance, Kerala, Kerala is the state that is shouting. So they say, how are we ranking 20th? We have got 48% of our revenue is coming from MSMEs. We've got close to 45,000 MSMEs that got operated, that started in Kerala in the last 2 years. How the Kerala says, how can we be 28th? So they say, while you have taken the parameters and all that, tell us what we rank where. Then we can, at least we can talk to you, we can ask you as to why are we ranking what we're ranking. So they say there's absolutely no transparency. Now the simple question that I need to ask is, according to the latest data for tax collection, you see tax collection is when you enjoy income. When do you enjoy income? You enjoy income when the business in your state is doing well. And when the business of your state is doing well, you have more jobs. When you have more jobs, you have more salaries. When more people are getting salaries, more people pay taxes. Simple logic. which means that there is more business happening in that area. Logic. Now, if you go by that logic, which means if direct taxes can be equated with, business happening in an area, now if you go by that logic, then the latest data of tax collection says that 61% of the country's tax, 61% of the country's direct tax are paid by Maharashtra, Delhi and Karnataka. These three states contribute to 61% of the country's tax. Now, if you add Tamil Nadu and Gujarat to it, the total becomes 72%. 72% of this country's tax are paid by Maharashtra, Delhi, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. And you know where they stand in ease of doing business? Maharashtra stands at 13th, Tamil Nadu stands at 14th, Delhi stands at 12th and Gujarat stands at 10th, Karnataka stands on 17th. So all these states which are doing business, making money, giving jobs, people receiving money, giving taxes, these states are all below 10 and below 10. I think Gujarat is 10. Except for Gujarat, everybody is below 10. And Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and Madhya Pradesh are in the top 4. I don't understand this logic. And if somebody is going to tell me that, oh, you know what, it is not about business, it is about only, it is about the ease of doing business because things are easier there. Well, all that is good. All that is like, pissing in our pants and feeling warm about it. End of the day, good business, if the place is good for business, people will come and do business. And the best parameter for a place to say that it is a good place for doing business is when people make money, when businessmen make money in that state. That is the best way to say that this is the best place to do business. And any unit head, any business head, I think, who is listening to my editorial today will agree to the fact that jahan par profits hai, that is the best place to do business. Period. Okay, a state that cannot deliver profits to you, a state that cannot deliver markets to you, a state that cannot deliver good opportunities for business to you, cannot be a place that is ease of doing business, because it doesn't make sense. I don't do business to chill. I do business to make money. So this is what the story is. Till we meet next time. Namaskar.